This is, in some ways, my love letter to professional wrestling.
The revival of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is set to whip Windsor onto the world stage.
I think what we have here is really, truly something special. Because when you talk about wrestling in Canada, there's nothing bigger historically than Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Building off its rich Canadian history and finding new champions.
Canada has not had its own national promotion in 40 years. So that opportunity to go out there and do that now, I think is truly something that people should be excited about.
Following his departure from TNA Wrestling earlier this year, Border City Wrestling Scott D'Amore, now MLP president, says he took a chance and acquired a legendary company that's been dormant for the last 4 decades.
Maple Leaf Wrestling was, the standard bearer of Canadian wrestling for a very long time.
Two-time world champion Josh Alexander says getting noticed on the world stage has been a long-time hurdle for Canadian grapplers, but he's confident that won't be a problem after this weekend's event. 60% of the wrestlers are Canadian.
I'm just buzzing to get out there and, have a showcase for Canadian wrestling.
It's not just huge for Canada, it's huge for Windsor as well.
Local wrestling historian Jamie Greer says Windsor is viable on the global scale.
Yeah, when you combine that history of Windsor with the history of Maple Leaf Wrestling itself, which goes back to 1930, that you've got a recipe for success.
D'Amore believes professional wrestling is at an all-time high.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
He wants to launch careers while relaunching the brand. He says Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is what got him hooked in the first place decades ago.
It was watching wrestling in the hospital just down the street from here with my grandfather as he was battling for his life. And that was the one thing that gave me joy at that time. And now to be sitting here literally, I think it's 42 years later, and have the opportunity to relaunch that brand. This is my opportunity to give back everything that it's given to me.